Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, I'm Liz Krueger, State Senator. Welcome to our town hall meeting on different issues in transportation, the real ID, what that means, and how it's going to affect us and what we need to do, and the changes in the way we pay for the MTA system through the OMNY program. To say the least, we're living in a crazy time right now, and things are happening nonstop in government. But based on how many people signed up for today's webinar, clearly traveling nearby and far away are on everyone's minds. So I want to welcome our program participants who are viewing this event on Zoom or Facebook, who may be calling into this virtual town hall. And we're calling it Transportation Transitions, what you need to know about the Real ID and OMNY programs. I would like to thank our event co-sponsors, Lenox Hill Neighborhood House, Health Advocates for Older People, and Search and Care, all tremendous not-for-profits serving my district. As always, we have closed captioning available in this afternoon's event. Please know you must activate closed captioning to view the text on your device. If you're in Zoom, click on Live Transcript in the meeting controls to start viewing closed captioning. If you're on Facebook Live, you'll see a settings button in the bottom right-hand corner of the video. Click on CC for closed captioning to activate the process. This forum, like all of our forums, is being recorded, and everyone who RSVP'd will receive an email with a link to the event video and the resources that are posted in the chat within a few days, along with the presenter's PowerPoint. So again, we're going to be providing you a lot of information, but don't worry, you don't have to take a pencil and scribble down everything you're hearing and seeing, because you're going to get this sent to you also. You can always do follow-up and re-listen to things on your own time. We want you to be prepared for upcoming transportation transitions. I'd like to say we'd like you to be prepared for all kinds of transitions, but those might all be coming too fast for us to keep track of. But we want you to know that if you want to get on a domestic flight, currently you can use your New York State ID or passport to board a domestic flight or get into a federal building. But starting in May of this year, you'll need to get a real ID license to fly domestically, or you will need to bring your passport to the airport. So you do have the option. If you have a passport, just remember to keep it with you more often. If you are traveling a little closer to home, you should be aware that the MTA will begin phasing out Metro cards in the next few months, and you will have to use OMNY on New York City public transportation. And if you want to receive your older adult reduced fare card, you're also going to need to transfer that into OMNY. For the record, I've already done both of those things. It's great, it's convenient, and you just need to figure out how to do it, and then you will actually be quite happy. First, we'll hear from Tamara Watson and Aysisa Tilghman, supervisors at Motor Vehicles 1 at the State Department of Motor Vehicles, who will present on the Real ID program changes. They will explain the process to get your Real ID license, what documents you will need in order to obtain one. Then we will hear from Alberto Roldan, Assistant Director of Government and Community Affairs at New York City Transit, who will talk about the discontinuation of the Metro Card program and how in the future, if you want to continue to receive your older adult discount on public transportation, you will need to transition to the OMNY Card program. And even if you're not an older New Yorker, you will want to use the OMNY Card system because there won't be a Metro Card program. So we're going to start out with Tamara and Aysisa from the Department of Motor Vehicles. And I'm just going to turn it over to them. And then when they're finished, I'll be introducing Alberto. And then, of course, as usual, we will have a question and answer section. Many people have already submitted questions, and we have those ready to go. But if other questions come to you during the presentations, you are welcome to put them into the Q&A section of whichever system you're on. And if we can add you to the master list, we will. It's very often that many of us are asking the same questions. If you have a question that you put into Q&A that can be answered while we're all listening, somebody might just text you an answer right then and there. So with that, I'm going to turn off my camera and listen to our guests from Department of Motor Vehicles. Good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon,
Good
Senator
afternoon.
Krueger. My name is Aysisa Tilghman, here with Tamara Watson. We're going to present New York State Department of Motor Vehicles, Real ID and Enhanced Driver's License and ID Card Program. We're going to review the Real ID Act and the deadline, ID types and names, requirements, and schedule an appointment online and by phone. The Real ID Act was passed by Congress in 2005, enacted the 9/11 Commissioner's recommendation that the federal government set standards for the issuance of sources of identification, such as driver's license and identification cards. The deadline is May 7, 2025. U.S. travelers must be Real ID compliant to board domestic flights and access certain federal facilities. ID types and names. There's a standard ID. These are the three types of photo documents provided by New York State DMV. There's the Real ID. The Real ID Enhanced meets the U.S. federal requirements for domestic air travel. All three types apply to non-driver's IDs, learner's permits, and driver's licenses. Standard IDs, not accepted for boarding domestic flights or entering federal buildings. No federal recognized form of identification, no additional fees, qualifications for a standard document, proof of date of birth, one proof of New York residency, and 6 points of proof of name. Real ID, accepted for boarding a domestic flight or entering a federal building, no additional fees, qualifications, proof of lawful status, proof of Social Security, 2 proofs of New York State residency, and 6 points of proof of name. The enhanced document, accepted for boarding a domestic flight or entering a federal building, accepted at U.S. land, sea border crossings, available to U.S. citizens only, additional $30 fee. Qualifications, proof of citizenship, proof of Social Security, 2 proofs of New York City residency, and 6 points of proof of name. The requirements: you must visit an office. You must provide proof of birth, citizenship, or lawful status. Proof of Social Security number, proof of New York State residency, and any name change documents. Why is an office visit required? To upgrade your standard photo ID document, a visit to your local DMV office is required. You will be required to take a new photo in the office. You will need to bring original documentation, again, because it must meet the federal standards for identification and will be reviewed by the motor vehicles representative and stored digitally for examination by other agencies. We also have mobile outreach units or events, schedules pending. Requirements. All documents are subject to in-office approval. 6 points in the same name are required for any transactions at the New York State Department of Motor Vehicles. Official documents should be originals. No copies are accepted. Requirements for these proofs include birth documents, proof of date of birth, right? Proof of Social Security status or ineligibility, proof of citizenship or lawful status, proof of New York residency, name change documents. So let's review what the birth documents that we're referencing. The following documents are eligible for both Real ID and Enhanced. Birth documents or citizenship, U.S. birth certificate, 0 points. Puerto Rico birth certificate issued after July 2010, 0 points. U.S. passport or passport card, not expired, not even 1 day, 4 points. Certificate of naturalization or citizenship, 3 points. So these are now the documents for lawful status or birth documents. The following documents are eligible for Real ID. Unexpired foreign passport with CBP stamp, I-94 or I-551, 4 points. Unexpired permanent resident card, 3 points. Unexpired employment authorization card. Only certain statuses will accompany these documents, 3 points. If there's any questions about the birth documents and lawful status documents, please enter your questions so we can answer those for you. We'll be happy to do so. Proof of Social Security status. U.S. Social Security card. W-2 must show full 9-digit Social Security number if you currently have a New York State DMV ID already. So you can only use the W-2 if you already have a non-driver's ID, driver's license, or learner's permit. 1 point. 1099-R or 1099-SSA must show full 9-digit Social Security number if you have, again, currently have a New York State DMV ID card, driver's license, or learner's permit. 0 points. If you're not eligible for a Social Security card, we accept Social Security ineligibility letters from the Social Security Administration. Only valid for 30 days after date of issuance. 0 points.
And that's with just certain statuses in your visa.
Oh. That's only eligible for certain statuses if you have a visa.
Foreign visa.
The requirements for proof of New York State residency. New York State driver's license, learner's permit, or non-driver's ID must be current, not expired more than 2 years. 6 points. Postmarked mail, U.S. Postal Service, postmark dated within the last 12 months. 0 points. Utility bills, phone, gas, electric, cable from your utility company, not building management. 1 point. Bank statement issued within the last year. 1 point. Voter registration notification card issued within the last year. 0 points. New York State certificate of title. 2 points. Now on to the requirements for any name change documents. U.S. marriage certificate or divorce record issued by a state or local government, 2 points. Court issued name change decree, 2 points. Schedule an appointment by our website or phone number. Website dmv.ny.gov, or you can use your phone right now to take a snap a photo of the QR code, and that will take you directly to that website. The telephone number is 212-645-5550. Thank you very much.
Sorry, so that's the complete presentation for you for now?
Yes, it is, but we're looking forward to the questions.
Good, all right, so that was quicker than we thought, which is fine. We'll just have more time for questions when we get to them.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. So next, I got thrown off by a little bit because I thought you had a longer presentation. No issue. We're going to now hear from Alberto Roldan, Assistant Director of Government and Community Affairs at New York City Transit, and he's going to explain about the OMNY card, the adult discounts, the differences between Metro cards and the OMNY system. And I can tell both of our sets of guests, we already have endless questions for you both. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Alberto.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate you having us here today. I was a little excited to start answering some questions in the chat, so apologies for that if I confuse anyone, but definitely excited to be here to talk to all of you. I'm going to share my screen here momentarily. All right. Reduced fare OMNY. So I'm going to quickly go through some reduced fare basics and also for our newly eligible customers, how to join the program. Also go through using reduced fare for credit or debit card. Current customers transitioning over, including Easy Pay. A lot of questions on that I've been getting. OMNY basics, online OMNY account management, and also Q&A. Basics. Who qualifies for reduced fare? Anyone over 65 or over, or qualifying disability. So qualifying disability, anyone receiving Medicare benefits, blindness, mental illness, deafness, or hearing loss, or other physical disability. I do want to point out that our reduced fare programs do not have a residency requirement. So that's something that I think we're very proud of. It's also makes our system more accessible. New customers have 4 ways to apply. They can apply at our main customer service center at 3 Stone Street in Lower Manhattan, one of our 15 customer service centers in the 5 boroughs, which are all ADA accessible and are open 24/7. Our mobile sales van buses, or via mail, online at subway booths. I do want to say that currently during the transition, you will have a faster process applying in person at our customer service centers, our mobile van, or at 3 Stone Street. Current reduced fare customers. All 1.5 million reduced fare customers were mailed out a card starting in December. They should have received the card by end of January, and some are still trickling in. So if you did not receive yours, do not panic. You may have that in your mailbox the next couple of days, next couple of weeks. We do recommend you take a picture of the back of your card so that it saves the account number and other details in case you lose the card. Also want to point out, OMNY cards come with a 0 balance. You have to add value to the card to begin using them. I'm gonna cover that shortly. Current customers. Again, OMNY cards were sent out in the mail in December. Should have received them. If not, we can cover that on what to do if that did not yet happen. For reduced fare customers or Metro card, your Metro card will continue to work until the expiration date at the top of your card here circled on the screen. This is your last reduced fare Metro card. We recommend you spend down the balance on the card. If you have a large value, or just know that you will not be able to spend that value by the end of the expiration date, you can transfer that remaining balance to an OMNY card at your nearest customer service center or mobile van. And then you can start tapping with OMNY. For current customers who did not receive their card in the mail, a couple of things here. Call 511 to verify that your mailing address is correct. Should in fact that be the case, that your address was correct, you can visit us in person and receive an OMNY card the same day. So again, it's one of our 15 customer service centers, our mobile sales van, or 3 Stone Street. And for our customers who were getting temporary reduced fare cards every month, you will now need to apply for a permanent reduced fare card. And again, you will receive the card the same day. For reduced fare customers who are using their credit, debit card, or mobile device to tap into the system, this will not change your OMNY experience. You will continue to use your debit, credit, or mobile device as you were using it. No action is needed, but you will not be getting a card in the mail. So for those who want to switch back to a physical card, that can occur, but you will have to visit us at 3 Stone Street at the present time. But again, you will not be getting a card in the mail, but you can continue to use your credit, debit, or mobile device the same way you have been doing the last 7 months or a year. Now, for Easy Pay customers, you should have received an OMNY card in the mail, again, between December and now. This is your last Easy Pay reduced fare Metro card. We encourage you to spend down the balance on your reduced fare Metro card. Should you have a large balance and you will not be able to spend that by March 22nd, right? Key date here is March 22nd. If you cannot spend that money by then, go to easypaymetrocard.com, close the account, you get a refund. Or you can call the EasyPay call center here at 877-323-7433. I will share this information with the senator and in the chat as well, so no need to rush to write it down. But again, for EasyPay customers, spend it down or give us a call and we'll send you a refund of your balance. A few basics for OMNY. Reduced for OMNY is very similar to a full fare card. The only difference, if you flip the card on the backside, you will see a RF notation on the left corner there. That's how you know it's a reduced fare card. There's no photo on the card, there's no information, because many of our customers express a worry of if they lose the card, that person now has my information, a photo of me, my name, my account number. So we set this up in a way in which you will not have to worry about someone having your information should you lose your card. We still will have a photo, your photo in the system for us for when we send you the card, but publicly you will not have a photo. It's only for verification purposes. The card is thicker and more durable than a Metro card. So long gone are the days of my Metro card being demagnetized, having the Metro card machine at the select bus machines messing up my Metro card, the bus messing up my Metro card. Those days are gone. You will not have to dip a card in any machine. You simply tap. And these cards are more durable. We talk about 4 to 5 years, so much longer, more environmentally friendly, ultimately cheaper all across. There's no change to the cost of reduced fare trips of OMNY. You'll continue to have the same half-price fares you do today. That includes subways, local, and select buses, and off-peak express bus rides. So folks may be aware that between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. and 7 p.m., the off-peak, the reduced fare does not apply during those times. OMNY also functions on Staten Island Railway and Roosevelt Island Tram. The Beeline bus and Nice bus are for our Westchester and Long Island customers. That transition will soon be coming. That's in the process. Transfers remain the same. Subway and bus transfers do not change. Same 2 hours you get now. And just mentioning, OMNY also works on the JFK Air Train. It just will not be reduced fare. We do not control the air train as Port Authority, but we were able to have OMNY be accepted on the air train. Tapping with OMNY, again, On the screen here, you see some validators. On the left is the subway. On the right is the bus. No more swiping. Simply tap your card or device against the screen here. It'll turn green, and you go ahead. Another video here what the tapping looks like. And then these are more examples of what you will see at the stations or bus. The left is the readers ready to be used. The two middle are for the subway and the bus, and the last one on the right means tap again. Oh, excuse me. So loading value on your card. You have 4 ways to add money onto your card, which is an exciting development. You can add value online OMNY.info, where you can set up automatic refills from your credit or debit card. Very similar to what our EasyPay customers are used to. We have that option now. You get to control what amount, at what value you have the refill, at what frequency, and what funding source. So you control all of that. Secondly, more traditionally, you can use Omni vending machines in subway stations. Cash is also accepted. Visit one of our retail locations. This is a new option customers have. You can visit one of our retail locations such as Walgreens, 7-Eleven, CVS, some pharmacies, and that's all about convenience and access as well. And also our mobile sales van. Those are very popular around the communities. You can add value at these mobile sales vans in your local community in all 5 boroughs. So just to add value online, giving you a quick example, this gives you the most options and flexibility on how you refill your card. It also allows for automatic reloads, replicating the EasyPay program. And you customize exactly when your card reloads. So on that info, and then you would go to the right-hand corner, digital assistant, and then walk you through that. Or you can give our Omni call center, give them a ring, and they can walk you through the steps and help you set up online account, also automatic refill, and that's perfectly a fair option as well. Omni vending machines. You may have started to see these machines in different stations, rolling out new Omni machines at stations every week. Not just in Manhattan, but the outer boroughs as well. Very similar to the MDM, the MetroCard machines folks have grown to love, adore, or have different feelings for over the last 20 years. But the screens are much larger, the text is larger. There's new languages on the machines for those who need that assistance. It's also new audio assistance. And then if you want to find the list of stations that currently have vending machines in them, that we have that link there as well. And just so you know, similar to our retail network, the list is expanding every week. Adding value at mobile sales vans. MTA vans and buses are all over the city every day. You can find the nearest one at your location here, mta.info/mobile sales. Again, no need to copy it down. I will send this information to the senator's office to disseminate for all of you, and also put in the chat shortly as well. But the mobile vans, you can add value, transfer MetroCard balance, or provide a new card. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for all things Omni and MTA. Nearby retailers, again, thousands across the 5 boroughs. We try to replicate the expanse of the MetroCard retail network. So that gave us a start in the game, but we're adding new large retailers that folks are aware of and can trust. Main point here is there is no charge for refilling your Omni card at these retailers. So just a quick summary, adding value to your Omni card, online, omni.info, our vending machines at the stations, our retail locations, and lastly, our mobile sales vans. New benefits of Omni. So we have a new benefit called fare capping, which means you earn unlimited rides. What that means is after 12 rides in 7 days, the rest of those rides for that week will be free. So you never spend more than $17 in one 7-day period. And that's the same value as a 7-day unlimited ride pass. So instead of paying for it up front, you earn it. Creating Omni account. Again, visit omni.info, click on register up in the top right-hand corner there. Once you do that, I'll walk you through a bunch of steps. Key thing I want to stress is you must know your email password, because once you register and put your information, it's going to send you a link to your email. That will help you start That will help you activate the account and start the process of adding information such as payment type, auto reloads, tracking your rides, how close am I to, again here, how close am I to earning free rides? You can skip the vending machine entirely. How many times have folks gone to the vending machine and it says, no cash accepted, no receipts? So sometimes while we get to repairing that machine or addressing that issue, you can skip the whole line and refill your card online. You can also set automatic refills like Easy Pay. And lastly, if you lose your card or it's stolen, you can freeze that card. And once you get a replacement, you can just add the value to that was already on that card. So here's just ways to get help with Omni. You can use omni.info, reduce for website, one of our 15 customer service centers at subway stations across the 5 boroughs, mobile sales vans, and Omni call center. These here is a list of the 15 customer service centers open 24/7 at 88 stations throughout the 5 boroughs. For our folks here in Manhattan, we have 168th Street in Upper Manhattan, 125th Street along the 456, 34th Street on the 2 side of the station, Times Square, and Fulton Street. So there's plenty of options here. We're always evaluating new locations, but these are very popular and folks can transfer their funds today at these stations. Get more information again on the info, reduce for webpage. We have a video online of a webinar we did a few days ago, but also how to use my Omni card. We have videos of that. How to create an online account, videos of that as well. So we're working with folks to really bring this information to you and make you comfortable with this new form of payment. And that's it. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Wow, so we got through both of our presentations and the amount of time we thought we'd need for each of you, so that's fine. So again, I'm just going to, before I roll us into the Q&A, remind you that we have many questions that were sent ahead. And there have been, actually, I think 58 questions added through Q&A. Obviously, my staff will highlight for me which ones they think we need to add, because many are duplicative of each other and of questions we already got from people. But just to remind you, there's a follow-up email with links to the event with all of the resources listed in the chat, as well as the presenters' PowerPoint presentations. And you can still put questions into Q&A function in Zoom and or Facebook, depending on which part of the system you're on. So I'm going to start off by just starting to go down the list. Oh, I'm going to invite our DMV people to come back so that when the questions are addressed to them. Great, thank you. I know there's been some technical problems up there at DMV's system, so I know they're here with us, and in case their pictures don't come back up, you'll be hearing their voices. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, oh, there they are, good, their pictures too.
Hello again,
Hello,
Aysisa and
hello.
Tamara here.
Great, 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 okay. So let's start. The first questions I have. How can I tell if my current New York State ID in lieu of a driver's license is a real ID?
Okay, so for you to determine if the ID that you currently have in your wallet, if it's driver's license, permit, or just a non-driver's ID, if you take the wallet, your ID out, identification out, and look at it, on the top right-hand corner, there's an indication on what it would be. It would either say not
Eligible.
not eligible for federal purposes. That means that you do not have a real ID or an enhanced ID.
Got it.
If you
I
see
just pulled mine out. Mine does not have, it says not a federal ID. Okay.
Correct. If you have a star in the top right-hand corner, that means that you possess a real ID. It can be a driver's license, permit, or non-driver ID card. The star means you have the real.
Okay.
And if you have the American flag in the top right corner, that means
I think it's at the bottom.
No, it's still
it's
at
still
the top.
Oh, I'm so sorry. If you see the American flag that means you currently possess the enhanced. It could be a driver's license, permit, or non-driver's ID, but it is considered the enhanced.
The real
And
ID.
is enhanced as good as a real ID, or do I still need a real ID?
So the real ID and the enhanced are both what is required by May 7th. The real ID became went into act in 2005.
Mhm.
The enhanced ID has been around since 2001.
Mhm.
So either ID is eligible. Both IDs allow you to fly state to state. Both IDs allow you to go into federal buildings. Only the enhanced ID for an extra cost allows you to fly. I'm so sorry. Allows you to cross the US border by land and by sea only, meaning by boat or by car
Oh, that's what I went to Mexico and Canada.
to Mexico and Canada. And it's only available to US citizens.
Got it. Okay. And will I need to have my driver's license renewed before it expires in order to have this real ID? Or can I just go and get the real ID now, even though I already have a driver's license?
Correct. You do not need to renew ahead of time. So even if it expires in 2033, come in. We'll upgrade you to the real or the enhanced ID at a minimal charge, and you don't have to pay to renew.
So that's great. So it's not an extra cost, but I'm just reading these questions along. So will I have to go in person to a DMV site to get the real ID, or is there a way to do it online?
No, you definitely have to come in person. The documents that is needed to give you the federal ID need to be scanned to the federal government, and we also have to have an updated photo.
Oh, this is a question near and dear to my heart. So all of the ID in my entire life is the same. My social security number, my mortgages, my school records, my tax records, but my birth certificate lists an altered first name. DMV says I have to amend all my records to match my birth certificate. We're talking about 68 years of data. Can I just amend my birth certificate? Because that would be a lot easier. And how would I do that?
You definitely can just amend your birth certificate.
And do you know how we do that in New York?
Where we live.
So I would reach out to the Office of Vital Records, and they can give you all of that information. That would be something you can Google here in the city. That would be 125 Worth Street here in Manhattan. But outside of the 5 boroughs, I can't say, but the website would be the Office of Vital Records.
VITAL.
Great. You know, I'll tell everybody, this is a much more common question for women than men. Of course, because women sometimes change their last name when they get married, or even change it back when they get divorced. And so they can have ID that really doesn't jive with birth certificates. And for example, since we're talking about traveling, it's important to know there's this other rule for traveling, which is if you're using a passport, or I guess now a real ID to travel on airplanes, the airplane ticket has to be in the same name as your passport or your real ID, or the airline will give you a problem. And they want you to buy your airplane ticket with a credit card, which matches the name that you're buying your ticket under, and that matches your real ID or passport. So that's a little beyond the scope of DMV here, but we've just made it more and more complicated for people to have ID and get on airplanes. So it is pretty important to have consistent documents, or you can discover, you don't have a airplane ticket in the right name, or you can't pay for the airplane ticket in the right name with the right ID. So,
And that's what the Real ID Act was made for, to kind of streamline identities and keep us safe. because we don't, a lot of stuff happens out there. A lot of people steal people's identity, but if we're keeping the same consistent identity over all of our different documents, it kind of keeps us safe from that kind of harm.
Right. Okay, so I'm quite sure I was listening and you did explain this, but I'll just repeat this question. So you have a driver's license, but you don't have a utility bill other than a rent bill. What else can you use to prove residency? But you had a whole list there and different points for different kinds of identity, right?
Yes, and we also have an ID list that you can access on our website that gives you even more things that we would accept. We just gave you the basic form, the most common forms of things that we see.
Great.
But one thing they can bring in is postmark mail, because everyone receives mail, right? So if you have that red postmark on the envelope with your name and address on that envelope, we'll take that.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so then someone wanted to get an enhanced ID, but was told they can't list a PO box on it instead of a residential street address. Is that correct?
That is correct. You'd have to have a New York State resident address.
Got it. Okay. I think you covered what if you don't have a driver's license. There's non-driver's license IDs, and you can also get a real ID even if it's not for driving purposes, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you providing any assistance to disabled people who would have trouble getting into a DMV office?
We are. You can contact our general assistance number, and they will have you connected to a liaison, and the liaison will work with you to get you into the office.
Also, there'll be mobile outreach events, hopefully in someone's neighborhood. They can also contact that number listed prior and to see where those might pop up.
Great, great. That's very good to know. All right, so I think we know this, but do I need real ID just for flying? Do I need it for anything else?
To get into federal buildings, as like a court building, and yes, it's just for flying domestically, not international.
Right, okay. So again, I don't know how often people are going to federal buildings, but they could be a federal courthouse, that huge federal building downtown, a couple of blocks north of City Hall.
Post office.
Post office, thank you. Yes, many of us go to the post office and don't think about the question that we're walking into a federal building. Oh, important, thank you. Okay. Do you need a real ID if you already have a passport?
Well, no, you do not necessarily need a real ID if you already have a passport, but not having a real ID can hinder travel. It can give you a little bit of a hard time.
And who wants to carry their passport everywhere? That's something that we want to keep safe, right?
It's true. Okay, will people be able to use expired passports for flying? I don't think they can do that now.
Cannot, no.
No, make sure you update your passport, folks.
And you cannot use it to get the real or enhanced ID either.
Right.
Also, getting a duplicate or renewing your ID card is a little bit easier than renewing your passport. So I think people should come in, because in lieu of sending away their passport to be renewed, they can have their real ID in order to travel.
You're absolutely right. I just went through the process of renewing a passport, and it can be pretty complicated and take a long time. So, yeah, so if you know you need a passport, make sure you file for a new one quite a bit of time before the passport expiration date. Can permanent residents use their green card instead of carrying a passport or getting a real ID for domestic travel?
Well, those permanent resident cards, I don't own one myself, but from what I know, they're quite expensive to replace, where the real ID is only $17.50 to replace if it's a driver's license or learner's permit. If it's just a non-driver's ID, then it would be $6.50 to replace.
But could I get on an airplane for domestic travel just with my green card if I didn't have anything else?
Absolutely can. You
Okay,
can do it with your employment resident card. You can do it with anything. It's just once those things are lost, it's so much more expensive to replace.
And such a more of a hassle.
and can I use a foreign passport as a form of ID for getting the real ID?
So when using the foreign passport, it depends on the status. It depends on each situation. It depends on the proof of identification you can require, but you cannot get a non-driver's ID. You're only eligible for permits.
Okay. So I get my real ID and renewal time has come up. Am I going to have to do that whole process again and go in and see you, or is it more of an automated renewal process?
Once you already have your real ID or enhanced ID, you can renew online.
Great. That's what I thought. All right. So now we're going to jump to Omni for a little while and give you ladies a break and put Alberto on the test box.
Thank you so
All right.
much.
Thank you. Don't go anywhere though, because we'll come back to you. Trust me. All right. So I've not yet received my Omni mailing. When can I expect it? I do not have a new Omni card yet.
Great question. So customers should have received the Omni card by February. We mailed them out in December, but if you have not yet received your Omni card, call 511, verify your mailing address is correct. And if it is, then you can walk over to one of our 15 customer service centers or mobile sales van or 3 Stone Street, and you can get a card the same day.
I think you answered this, but I'll just say it again because it's a question.
Sure.
Will Omni be the only way to pay for subways and buses in the near future?
So currently, while we transition out from MetroCard, you can use both MetroCard and Omni. We do recommend that you spend down your MetroCard balance or transfer the value to your Omni card and start using your Omni card. But once the transition is complete, there will be no more MetroCard.
And what was that exact date when Metro cards will no longer be useful?
We do not have a date for MetroCard sunset just yet. But for Easy Pay MetroCard, those specific subset of customers,
Yeah.
Easy Pay MetroCard will no longer function after March 23rd. So spend down or give us a call on the Easy Pay call center to close that account and get a refund.
I know you said this, but I'm just going to ask again.
Sure.
So I use a senior retiree Metro card. How do I register that with Omni?
So if you want to create an online account, you go to omni.info, register and enter your credentials, or you can call the Omni call center. They're open 8 to 8, Monday through Friday, and 8 to 4 on weekends. And they can walk you through the process of setting up an account, including reloads and auto reloads.
Got it. And will the Omni card be available for senior auto pay like my Metro card is?
Yeah, so auto reload, that will continue to be a function available to customers, reduced fare and full fare. You can set up that option again through the omni.info account or by calling our call center. But the online account is the easiest. But again, online accounts are optional. We don't want to pressure folks into making an account, but just know to get the full use of all the features, the online account will be best.
So a lot of seniors who don't necessarily use the subway but use the buses have gotten into the pattern of going to the Metro vans to refill their Metro cards. Will those Metro vans still be out there doing the same thing for Omni cards?
Yep, the mobile sales vans, we know they're popular, they're accessible, and they will continue to be out there in the community.
Got it. Okay, I think that you presented or someone has presented that CVS is also going to be helping people get their Omni cards, but somebody reports their CVS didn't seem to know about this.
Yeah, so a good question. So to clarify that, the reduced fare Omni cards only come from the MTA. Full fare cards, you can purchase those at retailers like CVS or Walgreens, 7-Eleven. The retailers, you can also refill your card, regardless of full fare or half fare. So I can say that again, saying that I don't want to confuse folks. MTA is the only one that will give you a reduced fare Omni card. You can refill both full fare and reduced fare at retail network locations.
And I know you talked about this a little, but just clarify also for us. So some people are just registering their credit card with Omni, and so they don't even need an Omni card. Is that right? That's just an option for everyone?
Yeah, so you can start tapping away your debit credit card on the at the readers and use that to access the system. Now, for reduced fare Omni folks, if they want to have the benefit on a credit debit card or wearable device, they would have to give us a call, the Omni call center, and say, hey, I want this specific card to have my benefit. So you know, we don't want you to tap and you're paying full fare when you shouldn't be.
Right. I actually did that. I'm a senior now, and so I was using just my credit card to get on and off the buses and trains, and I learned that I could just do that. So thank you for that. Okay, let's see. With the Metro card, I have an account which I have arranged to have automatically replenished when needed. Will Omni work the same way? Or will my credit card be charged each time that I use my Omni card?
So if you set up the auto reload for your Omni card, your physical card, you determine how much gets reloaded, at what amount it reloads, and through what funding source. Similar to what you do now with the Metro card.
And so now you can get your Metro card refilled at a machine, I think usually at subway stations.
Mhm.
With the Omni with reduced fare attached, can I also refill it somewhere at a machine?
The physical card center you're referring to?
Yeah,
Yeah, so great question. You can refill your Omni card the same way you do now at the stations, but also retail network, online, or mobile sales van. So you have much more flexible options. Arguably for some folks, safer options, but you know we're Omni's giving you that flexibility.
got it. So somebody's commenting that some major locations don't have these machines yet. They claim 59th Street near Bloomingdale's does not have Omni machines, and nor do they have MTA booth attendants. So are there plans to expand the locations where the refill machines are located?
Yeah, so we're rolling out new vending machines across the subway every week. So a couple stations a week we'll have that. So you should see one at 59th Street in the next couple months, hopefully. And then regarding station agents, there should always be a station agent either in the booth, near the booth, walking the station. That's part of the new MTA. We've taken them out of the station, out of the booth to really give better customer service to folks, answer questions, help them navigate the system. So if that's a concern, we can definitely raise that.
Okay, so now we're walking into territory, which I'm not even sure is your territory, but here we go. We have all these different kinds of smartphones and cell phones. And some of them have wallets, the iPhone wallet feature, the Apple wallet, a Samsung wallet. I'll start with the iPhone question. Can I use my iPhone wallet as my Omni system where I would just tap it and get on and off?
Yeah, so from what I'm aware of, some of these phones, iPhone and Samsung possibly, but I know iPhone for a fact has a transit function on the settings. So the card you put in a wallet would be your fare payment card. But our Omni Call Center will also help folks navigate that specific digital wallet question as well.
Okay, yeah, because there's a similar one about Apple Wallet, a similar one about a Samsung Wallet. I'm only smiling because I have my own personal answer on all these. Find someone 21 years old or under, they know how to do it.
No, listen,
Genetically know how to do it, and I don't.
I'm smiling too because I was at a Councilman Miguel Brewer had a tech event and that issue came up. And I looked at the phone. I said, "Well, let me go to settings," and that was exactly the one tap, and it was working after that. So sometimes it's that simple.
Yeah, yeah. I know, and there's so many different phones and they all have their different apps and their different rules. And so truthfully, I don't personally put credit card information on the phones, even though it's supposedly reliable. It just makes me a little nervous, so I don't do that, but other people want to do it. And there probably is a way, you just might have to find a younger person to help you walk you through. All right. So if you have fares and no credit card, are you going to be able to get an Omni card?
So our Fair Fares customers, Fair Fares is administered by the city. We offer the Metro card, but Fair Fares customers will be receiving an Omni card later this year. So they will be rolled into the program as well.
Got it. Great. Okay. Is there a way to pay for Omni that does not involve paying for every ride individually? The piecemeal nature of per ride charging, hitting our credit card one by one wreaks havoc on our bookkeeping process to track our costs and has so far been a deterrent. The Metro card system allows us to buy $40 worth of rides at a time and makes our lives a lot easier. How do you handle that one?
Yeah, fair question. So if you have a physical Omni card, right, you walk up to the machine, and this neat feature that I like about the machine, two things I want to point out. We call it a hot button. And what that means is if you're reduced fare, it'll say $17, and that's the equivalent of a weekly amount of rides. That's one option that's nice. But in terms of the pay per ride option, you can actually dictate how many rides you want to buy and input that into the machine, and it'll charge you that amount. So gone are the days like, well, I have 265. How many rides can I make to even out the card? Those are gone. You get to pick the amount of rides you want, and that number qualify for you. So
Okay. Can a Beneversal prepaid MasterCard and employee pre-tax commuter benefit card be used to pay for Omni? I forgot
Yeah.
about that program.
yeah, so that's a good question. So the beauty of those cards, they're coded just for transportation. So some have a tappable feature. Those that don't yet have that feature, you can use the card either online or at our vending machines to reload.
And I think people are a little confused, but they're asking about if Omni is on your cell phone, again, which I think means it's like one of those wallets we were just talking about. Are you going to end up with two different accounts? One that's your credit card when you tap that, and one with your wallet on your phone, but it's the same account, right? It's just a different device you might be using.
Good question. So if you have the benefit on let's say your Amex or Visa,
Yeah.
and on your phone, then the benefit for reduced fare is on the phone. It's not on the card. So I want that to be clear.
Okay.
So you and I logically, it's like, what's the same card? What do you mean? The system views as two different cards. So if you have the benefit on your phone, use your phone. If you use but then you can swap and say, no, I like it on my card, call us again, say, take the benefit from the phone onto my actual card. So it's confusing. It's one of those quirks of the system. So remember, if it's on your phone, use the phone. If you want it on the card, designate the physical card as your benefit.
Got it. So, wow, this one came in through Q&A, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Will there still be a way to use coins on a bus instead of Omni or Metro or any of those things? Are we going to be able to pay with money?
Yeah, we're not getting rid of cash. Cash is always going to be accepted.
Okay. All right. I don't remember the last time I saw somebody piling coins in, but I'm sure that still happens. I know you answered this, but just again, what do I do with the balance on my Metro card?
Spend it down or come visit us at one of our 15 centers or mobile van and transfer those funds to an Omni card.
So it can be transferred, including if it's a senior Metro card to a senior Omni card.
Correct.
Okay, great. All right, I have an automatic amount deducted monthly from my credit card to fund my Metro card. Yep. I found out that I have $160 remaining on it. There's no way I can use that up by March 31st. And so I think you already just answered the question. So you can transfer that remaining value from Metro card to Omni card, correct?
If it's an easy pay Metro card, give us a call and we'll give you a check for the remaining balance.
Oh, okay.
But if it's a regular card, not easy pay, you can transfer that, like you said, at the centers and all that.
Okay, great. All right, variation, same question. Okay, because you haven't said there's an official end date for the Metro cards. Even if you've gotten an Omni card, can you still keep using the money on that Metro card?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. How long should a refund take if you're asking for a refund from your Metro card?
I don't have a clear date on that. Let's say a week or two, but we're really fast. Our team internally here at True Broadway is very fast about getting checks out to customers as soon as they get the request.
Okay. So what if you think you did this right and you have a credit card signed up with Omni, and yet the card doesn't work? Who are you supposed to talk to?
The Omni card doesn't work, or the credit card you want to use the benefit on?
Well, yes, either situation, not, yeah.
Give us a call for both. Call our Omni call center for both, and we'll figure out if it's the card itself or if it's something wrong with the actual credit debit card.
So a number of people have complained that it's a little confusing when they want to load or reload their Omni card. And if they want to choose an option different than automatic reload, they can't figure it out. So can you explain a bit about what the different options are?
Yeah, so for reloads, if you don't want the automatic reload function, right, you can reload in person at the Omni vending machine or the mobile sales vans. You can pick the amount. But if you're online, you can also pick the amount. You can say $10, $5, whichever amount you feel like doing. I think you can do it to like 350 if not mistaken. So you can do a large amount, but you get to pick any amount.
Great. Okay, so to give you a little break, we're going to jump back to the ladies from DMV for some additional questions, and then we'll come back to you.
Great.
Okay, so hi, ladies.
Hello.
Great. All right, so people are asking about, they have a global entry card. Do they need an enhanced ID or a real ID, or can they just use that at the airport?
Yes, you still need your real or enhanced ID. The global entry is only effective in airports. It's not effective for federal buildings. And to fly domestically, you still need that real and enhanced.
Got it. All right, that's helpful. Thank you. Let's see, going on to the next one. Why isn't a valid US passport enough to get an enhanced ID?
It is not enough because the valid US passport only allows you 4 points, and you need 6 points overall to obtain it.
And the proofs.
And the social security proof is something that's required by the federal government. Now, the reason why the federal government requires that, I can't answer that part. But if it's a federal guideline, we must adhere to it.
Okay, so somebody's asking, my driver's license, which was issued December 11th, 2017, has a white star in a black circle on the right top corner. Is that an enhanced ID or a real ID?
That was the first ones we were doing.
That's currently a real ID.
That's a real ID. So you luckily have had one all along, whoever just asked me that.
Right on it.
All right. I researched an enhanced license with the flag symbol on the lower right, and that should be just as good as the real ID. Is that correct?
So the enhanced ID that has the flag on the lower right was the old version. Like I stated before, the enhanced ID was implicated in 2001. The newer one has it on the top right-hand corner. And like we said before, the enhanced and the real does allow you to do the same things. It's just for an extra cost for the enhanced. You can cross the borders by land and sea for U.S. border.
And it's only for U.S. citizens.
Only for U.S. citizens. Okay. All right, so I think you did answer this already, but I'll just double check. Somebody's concerned that they paid the highest amount requested for the most up-to-date driver's license last May, and they don't want to have to pay more to get a real ID now. Do they get some kind of discount for going for the real ID now?
So if they're stating that they paid the highest amount for a renewal license, I would assume, this is an assumption, that they are talking about having the enhanced. And if they have the enhanced with the flag on the top right-hand corner, then there's no need for you to downgrade to the real.
Got it. I definitely think there's a lot of confusion out there between the enhanced and the real, right? Because two
Right.
words and people think, what's going on here? Okay. All right, more. Sorry. What does 0 points mean? Are these items not valid for using to get the real ID?
It's not that they're not valid, it's required, but with the value of 6, we have to reach a value of 6 points. And so the ones that are valued at 0 don't add to that 6-point value. So
You would need to bring.
more documents to add to the 6 points.
Got it. Okay. Just looking for a few more for you. This giant list here I have. People have really great questions, I have to say. Okay.
And we invite people to just come in. We're here at your local DMV. We're here to answer your questions, you know? Okay, if
As
nothing
long as
else.
there's an appointment made, we will answer every question and hopefully help you through the process.
And then you would come back with everything you need.
Well, I will tell you that your commissioner testified before the legislature at our budget hearing about a week ago. And every single legislator said, we are so happy with the DMV. People are not complaining about it. They used to always complain, and it's really turned around, and no one complains about the DMV. Everybody says how great it's working. So applause to you. And I sit through endless budget hearings with endless commissioners, and the legislature is never saying that. They're never saying no one complains about this agency. It's working really well. So keep doing what you're doing, because this was statewide, people from all over the state saying this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, no, thank you. Okay, let's see. Do I have for MTA? I have MTA. Let's see. I'm a naturalized citizen. I don't have a birth certificate. Is proof of citizenship enough when you're asked for a birth certificate?
So yes, your proof of citizenship is enough. If you bring that original document, that will be your proof of lawful status. And it's also 3 points.
Okay, so good. Okay. Flag is at the bottom right side. That is an enhanced license, and it is of higher level than real ID, or sort of the same.
It's sort of the same. It just allows you an extra privilege of being allowed to cross the US border by land or by sea for an extra $30.
For US citizens only. US citizens
Okay.
only.
Got it. Okay. I keep my passport up to date because I travel internationally. The woman from the DMV said that if I use my passport instead of getting a real ID, I will have a hard time. Please ask her to explain what that means.
I wouldn't say you will have a hard time. I would just say that it can become a little difficult because a lot of TSA agents are under the assumption that the real ID is a necessary thing that you need when it's not. So it would just be easier to upgrade.
And because, in my opinion, our government has had some interesting new rules set, people are concerned, does Canada tighten their requirements? And are they going to not accept our enhanced driver's license or real IDs getting over the border by land now? Do we know anything about that?
So I understand that constituents' concern in the nature of our climate currently. We can't answer that question, unfortunately, for them, but they should speak to their senator or congressman, right? Because you guys would know the answer to that.
Well, fair enough. What do I do if I've lost my real ID or enhanced ID?
You can go online and request a replacement, or you can make an appointment to the nearest DMV office and request a replacement.
And so when you get your ID, you have to go in person. How long does it take before you get one once you finish the paperwork at one of the DMZ sites?
Oh, sorry. You get it temporary that same day. It's just a paper document, and the card comes in the mail anywhere from 5 to 15 business days.
And can you travel on airplanes with a temporary?
So that's up to the airline.
Ah,
You will have to contact the airline to allow you to do it. The document that we do give you as a temporary is provided with a barcode, so all airlines can scan it, but it really is the what depends on the airline.
Got it. Not sure I understand the question, but a concern about, is it all right to use your real ID as your source of identification for different purposes? Should we give our card number out? Sort of like the question of, we were all told, don't give your social security number out, right? Is there a reason we should not be using this for other purposes of ID when we're sometimes asked by different groups or even businesses?
So, you should be very frugal with giving that out, because your 9-digit client ID number remains your number for the entirety of your life, just like your social security number. So you can leave and go to another state, get a whole nother driver's license. When you come back to New York to transfer back here, you'll have the same client ID number. So yes, you should keep that safe.
Got it. So unfortunately, we are living in a world where people are involved in trying to scam us, are trying to steal our identities, are trying to get access to our personal information. So I think, again, it's be careful and thoughtful about sharing too much information with anyone. Obviously, when you want to travel or get on an airplane or cross a border, there's a reason why you would need to use your real ID or your enhanced ID or your passports, but doesn't mean you should just be passing that information around. Yes.
Also, that goes for any ID, even the
Yes.
one that's not for federal use, for federal purposes. The ID number doesn't change across once you go to the real or in the enhanced. So any ID, you should be careful with the number you give out.
So yes, the real ID replaces your other driver's license. But suppose you don't think you need a real ID because you're not a traveler. Can you just continue to renew your old driver's license through the mail?
Absolutely, you can. There's no nothing requiring you to do the change. But again, if you happen to go to the post office and they happen to ask you for identification after May 7, 2025, they might reject you because you don't have at least the real ID.
Okay, so important to remind us all that the post office is a federal building. And even if we don't think we're traveling across country or into other countries, a lot of us do travel through post offices for obvious reasons. Yep. Yep. Okay, that's very important. Thank you. Okay, I'm now going to jump back to the MTA because we have more for them. But the longer we stay on, it turns out the more questions keep getting thrown in. I think we're up to 99 questions being added. We've never had an event like that before. Wow. Okay, integration with the transit system. Can I still get a free transfer with an OMNY card? I've been using senior reduced OMNY. They sent me, but it seems to charge me twice, and there doesn't seem to be a transfer anymore on the bus. What's the story there?
So transfers remain the same as they do now with the Metro card. So 2 hours bus to bus, subway to bus, those do not change. So to the other question, you're right. When you tap your card or device, it'll say just go. But the system itself acknowledges that you already paid before and the transfer applies. So you're not
Okay, so
charged.
just because it says go doesn't mean you're actually getting charged a second time.
Correct.
Okay, very important. Thank you. Can I use my OMNY card on the air train? I think you said no, right? Or you said it's not reduced.
Correct, it's not reduced.
Okay, so you can use your OMNY card, but you won't get reduced fare.
And in the future, because OMNY's one Metro New York, in the future, we will be able to use OMNY on your railroads. So Long Island Metro North, that's a future rollout.
Okay. Do you happen to know the cost of the air train?
I think it's $8.50.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's
It's not cheap, I'll tell you that much.
No. Although compared to other options, it could be.
True.
Right. All right. So the only way I could use OMNY was to link it to my credit card, which I did. I actually got a card just for OMNY. Now the problem is some readers just don't accept the card. If I'm on a regular bus when this happens, I can use my reduced fare Metro card, but I don't have that option on the SBS buses. And what am I supposed to do? So is there some problem with the SBS buses and Omni cards?
So the SBS buses, as you may have seen, all the readers are activated on the 3 different doors, right? The first door, middle door, last door. Those are only buses that have all door boarding. You tap your Omni card or device, and that's your fare payment. No more receipts. We all, you know, most of us dislike the receipts, but you paid it. You tap the reader. If the Eagle team comes on to verify your payment, you just tap your card again that you paid, and it'll say, "Hey, yes, you did pay." So that's what it's a faster board, right? You don't have to have the
Yeah.
receipt. Mhm.
Right, right. And if people, I know there seems to be some confusion which you just answered, that if you think you're transferring, it still says go, so you think you might be paying twice.
Correct.
But you said you shouldn't be. But suppose you look at your bill and it does appear that you paid twice. Is that possible?
It shouldn't happen. If you feel that you were charged an error, give us a call. What they'll do is they'll look at your account and see if there was an error, which means were you within the 2-hour window of the transfer? And if so, then that charge will be reversed. And if not, then that's the charge.
Okay. So this is a complaint that somebody's been trying to resolve an issue with the Metro card to Omni, and every time they call, they put on a queue. I'm number 56, I'm number 93, I'm number 89. And they even can leave their contact information to be called back, but they don't get called back. Is this just an enormous backlog now because we're in transition?
Right.
Or-
So,
All right,
so, so, so good
yeah.
question. Like you said, like you pointed out, Senator, the transition has a large influx of people. I think sending 1.5 million 1.5 million cards at once, you're going to have this result, right? We are hiring up at some of our call centers to give us more flexibility and give better customer service, but there will be some longer wait periods. But for this specific constituent, if your team can get the info, I'll be happy to connect with them and resolve the issue.
Okay. All right, so you heard this and you've met the person you're going to talk to. Okay, so this is specific to concerns for handicapped citizens' access to all the new options that are coming to get around New York City. So concerned that Stone Street is really far away. Most of us cannot do subway steps and walk far. So you've talked about mobile vans, and you've talked about some other locations above ground. Are there any other locations above ground besides the mobile vans?
Um,
Vans, where people can get help?
Help, yeah. So the all of our 15 centers are ADA accessible, so they all have elevator access. That's one thing I want to point out.
Okay,
We also have, if this is a paratransit customer, we do have a new paratransit office at 3 Stone Street next to here on 2 Broadway, and they can also get Omni assistance at 3 Stone Street as well. So if there's a paratransit customer, we have a paratransit stop that's been installed by the 3 Stone Street office right in front of it. I'm happy to help you there as well.
and again, other than waiting in line, most of these changes can be done through internet or phone calls. They don't necessarily require you to go anywhere. Am I
Right.
right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, now here's an accessoride question. Issues an AAR MTA MetroCard to some of its clients for free bus subway rides if not using an AAR vehicle card. I just received my new AAR MetroCard in December 24. It's valid for 5 years. AAR said they still have received no information about having its MetroCard clients switched over to Omni. And they said they have no way to implement that change to Omni. So what should we do?
Good question. Our paratransit customers or accessory customers will be receiving an Omni version of the Metro card that they receive now with the 4 free rides every day. That will continue in the Omni version. So that'll be rolled out over the next couple of months. So be on the lookout for that. That will come out to our customers there.
And so until all of this is somehow resolved, people can still use their accessoride Metro cards with the same benefits they've been
Correct.
eligible for?
Correct.
Okay, that's how helpful. Thank you. All right, now let's see, just looking at my watch, Okay, we still have time because everyone did their presentations in such an efficient way. I'm going to go back now to see if more questions have been put on my system. Oh, okay. I have a senior reduced card and I have received an Omni card in the mail. How do I know if that Omni card is set up to be a senior reduced card for me?
Yeah, so if you received a Omni card in the mail from us, you are most likely a reduced fare customer. So if you are a reduced fare customer already for MetroCard, the Omni card you got in the mail is already reduced fare.
And I can test that by getting on a bus and it will say how much I just paid or not.
Yeah, you can well, load money on it first, and then you can go ahead and tap and get that benefit.
Okay. All right, let's see. I have a reduced fare Omni account. My credit card was lost and I can't figure out how to upload a new credit card that is actually connected to my senior rates. How do I resolve this?
Give us a call. Call the call center, and they'll fix that error for you, or swap that card and make it the official benefit.
Okay. How do you prove to a policeman you use your Omni on the SBS bus? Oh, where did the question disappear to? 1 second. Somebody types in a new one, like the one above it disappears on me.
No
1
worries.
second.
Well, I'll answer that first part, Senator, while you get the rest of the question.
Yes,
If you pay on the SBS bus and Eagle Team comes on to validate your fare, they have a reader. You tap the card or your device, whatever you used to pay the fare, you tap that device and it'll pop up and say, yes, you did in fact pay the fare.
got it. I'm still looking for the question about the police officer and I've lost that. So one of my staff, if you put that on chat, you can try to find it and put it back on for me because I got lost. A couple of people I think have asked about how any of this interrelates with Easy Pass payments, but I don't think it does it?
No, Easy Pass is not included in this at all.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. So you might have an Easy Pass account if you have a vehicle, and that is also attached to your credit card and is also an automatic, when it gets close to empty, your credit card reimburses it. So that's why you might be confusing the two, but that's not related to the Omni system. And I don't believe there's a reduced fare system in the Easy Pass system if you're older.
No, but I will say I did have an older customer use that example to describe the auto reload function for Omni.
Oh, okay.
So that's one way you can think about it.
Got it. Okay. But yes, I can agree, like everything can get very confusing in this world of technology and what's getting charged to your credit cards. Do you need to get a paper transfer for SBS buses for any reason?
No.
Okay.
Not if you use Omni.
No. Okay, fine. All right. I'm just double checking my lists coming in. And I'm sorry to put you on hold. I actually think we have gotten through all the questions. I'm sure somebody's going to call me right away after we say thank you and say, no, you missed mine, Liz. But I feel like, so we sort of, just for people to know, there's like 3 systems happening here at once. We have the questions people gave us in advance. You have the questions that people put into Q&A, some of which are actually being answered directly if people knew what the answer is. And then some of it's being moved over to a chat for me to look at to see if there are more questions for me to ask. Please clarify how I will get money left on my Easy Payment MetroCard back. Is it a check or is it put onto my credit card?
So we can either do a check or we can just refund the original form of payment.
Okay, so I guess you will have that option. All right. All right, I think mostly because I'm dizzy now from reading 3 different things on the screen at the same time, even though we're just a little bit earlier than we thought we would close down. And I just also want to say, we had over 500 people on this. I think even over 600 people at one time, showing you both agencies how much people want to understand what's going on, want to be able to use your systems effectively. And I want to thank you all so much from both MTA New York City Transit and the DMV for being here with us today. I learned a lot of things that I actually thought I knew, and turns out I didn't know. And it just reinforces to me why these kinds of webinars are so helpful to everyone. So I want to also thank my staff who are behind the scenes here for you folks, but I couldn't do any of this without them. And I want to thank you all for joining us today. And we will have some other events announced soon, because we always do. So I hope everybody, first off, stay warm. It's really cold outside. Bundle up if you go out. And we will see you sometime soon. Thank you very, very much.